Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to do a book review, a myriad of book reviews. I have a myriad of genres and we're going to talk about these books and what I thought about them. But first I want to say thank you to the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online customized therapy that offers phone, video, and even live chats with your therapist. I always recommend therapy. Therapy is amazing. I'm actually just signed up for therapy myself because things have been pretty rough for me lately, and that is okay to say. I know mental health is mostly viewed as a stigma. I do think it is getting better in this country, but there is no shame in asking for help. As someone that struggles with anxiety greatly, medical anxiety, general anxiety, I still suffer from postpartum depression. It can be a lot, and BetterHelp is there to help you because that is their whole job, is to help you. If you are nervous about starting therapy and I don't know where to start, where do I go? BetterHelp makes it so easy. All you have to do is go to their site and you fill out this questionnaire of why you're looking for therapy, what you're looking to get out of therapy, and it just really kind of simplifies it for you to ask for help, and it's amazing. So after you fill out their survey, they will pair you with a therapist and you go from there. What's amazing about BetterHelp as well, as if I haven't said enough amazing things, is that you can switch therapists at no additional cost. Sometimes when you're paired with a therapist, the match might not be great, and that's okay because not one person is perfect for everyone, you know what I'm saying? So maybe if you get matched with a therapist and you're like, is the vibe is just not quite right, I'm not feeling connected, you can switch to a different therapist with no additional cost. Therapy is just so beneficial. It'll help you, it'll help people around you that you love as they see you struggling, and therapy is just phenomenal. I'm so excited to start my journey with therapy, and I'm excited to see how it could help me with things I have dealt with a lot, with traumatic things in my past recently, and all of those many things. So BetterHelp is perfect for you to join. If you are nervous about therapy and you're like, I don't really want to commit a lot of money to it, totally understandable. If you go to my link down below at www.betterhelp.com/bookables, you can get your first month at BetterHelp 10% off, which is amazing because it's always good to save money and get help. Combine those together, boom. So join the 3 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. You won't regret it. Therapy can only help you, not harm you. It's phenomenal. I highly recommend checking them out. Like I said, all the information will be down below for you to check out, which is always amazing. So thank you so much to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now let's get on to all of the book reviews. Like I said, I'm talking about the first 4 books I read this month, so we got a hodgepodge of varieties. If you don't know with my reviews, I keep them spoiler free. I will put timestamps down below. As always, I'm gonna tell you what the book is about, what I rated it, what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So the books I'll be talking about today is Reckless by Elsie Silver, The Teacher by Frida McFadden, The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. So I have 2 thrillers, 2 romances. Let's do this. Like I said, there will be timestamps down below in case you want to hear about one particular book. So first up, we're going to start with Reckless by Elsie Silver. So this one is, I don't want to spoil it, but also like it's hard because it is the 4th book in a series. So it's like, so this is the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver. I've talked about the series a lot, how I don't love the first one and I didn't love the 3rd one as much, but the 2nd and 4th ones, like Chef's Kiss, beautiful. I think this is probably my favorite so far. I have 1 more to go and then I'll be finished with this. So this book follows 2 characters much like her other ones. If you're unfamiliar with the Chestnut Spring series, we kind of follow the Eaton family and we follow adjoining characters. So it's not necessary that you read them in order, but I always recommend you do, especially when it has like a sibling dynamic, because it just kind of flows better and you get backstory on characters and you get to see them, so you don't want to spoil anything. So I would recommend reading them in order. They're fast reads. They look long, but they go by very, very quickly. So, like I said, the 4th book follows Winter, and Winter is the main character in our first book, Summer. That's right, Summer and Winter's sister. And Summer and Winter have always had a very estranged relationship. And Winter is an ER doctor. She's very cutthroat. She's very kind of much like her name, Winter, harsh and cruel, and people don't really know how to act around her. And then we also follow Theo, who is kind of a family friend of the Eatons. He's a professional, I hope I say this right, bull rider. Is that the right thing to say? And this is a Grumpy Meets Sunshine, but reverse. Like I said, Winter is very much the grumpy and Theo is the ball of sunshine. So I don't want to spoil anything because this is hard to explain with going into it. Basically, in the beginning of this book, Winter and Theo meet. They have this automatic connection, but they also really kind of loathe each other. But then they decide, hey, let's just have a one-night stand and let's just call it that. We'll just have it, get our feelings out, never see each other again. Great. But the last thing of the book, it says, but that little plus sign is going to make this secret impossible to keep. So yeah, it's also Grumpy Meets Sunshine, kind of hate to love, also accidental pregnancy. So we got a lot of tropes in this, and some of those tropes do not work for me. I'm not the biggest fan of accidental pregnancy, but I've read a few this year that I've really enjoyed. And this one, this might be my favorite in the series. I think it was just Winter and Theo's relationship was just so beautiful. She was so complicated and misunderstood, and he took the time to understand her. And then they had their daughter, which was just phenomenal. There is a whole plot twist with that I do not want to go into because I feel like that will be spoiling it, but it is a beautiful book. Like, you can tell these characters love each other way before they even say it. Like I said, she's pretty rigid and stuff, but he brings out the happiness in her, and she teaches him how to really stand up for himself, how to really show his true feelings, because they both had kind of very tumultuous upbringing, with him losing his father when he was younger and her having a very just crapped up like childhood, parenthood. It made her and her sister have this rocky relationship. But the way she just kind of molds into her sister's family and tries to regain her sister's trust was just beautiful. Like I said, I do recommend this series. My least favorite is the first one and the third one, which is Flawless and Powerless, I believe. Heartless and Reckless, amazing. And the last book is The Last Brother. Is it Bo? I think it's Bo. We don't really know that much about him, so that's why I'm not like jumping at the gun to read it. But overall, I would give this a 4.5 out of 5. Highly recommend it. If you've read one of the books in the series and you're like, I don't know if I can continue on, each follows a different character. I think you're gonna find one book with one character that you really truly enjoy, and this one was it for me. Like the grumpy reverse meets sunshine, I loved it. I really did. I would go into more detail, but I feel like that would be spoiling it, and I don't want to do that. So we're just gonna move on. Next up, I have The Teacher by Freida McFadden. Sure, you've heard of Freida McFadden. She has blown up on Book Talk. She was an independent publisher. She did independently publish her own books, but since she kind of blew up on Book Talk, which I think a lot of authors has happened, even Elsie Silver, she got picked up by Bloom, I think. I forget who she got picked up, but they are all getting picked up and getting re-released, which I think is awesome. I don't love her books. This is my second book by her. The first one was The Inmate, which I will say, before I get into it, I gave this one a 3 out of 5. It was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. I read it because I haven't been reading a lot of thrillers this year for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's because of all the crap going on in my life. It's just I don't gravitate towards thrillers, but I thought it'd be fast. I thought it'd be easy, and I was correct. This is a long book. This is 400 pages, over 400 pages, which for a thriller is quite long, but her books are so fast, like just easy to read. Her writing is not the best. I think that's the main qualm with her books I have. It's just the writing is not there for me, and that's just me personally. If you enjoy her books, great. I can see why. She does write very, as much as I say I don't love her writing is very addictive. I will say that. So this one, I don't want to spoil it because it's best to go into blind. It's basically about two characters. Eve, who is a high school teacher. She is married to another high school teacher, and her life's just not going great. And then we follow Addie, who goes to the high school, and something bad happened with another teacher with her last year, and this year, everyone kind of hates her. She's kind of the social pariah, and is that the right term? I don't know. But either way, it says, a story of twisting secrets and long-awaited revenge. Nobody knows the real Addie. Nobody knows the secrets that could destroy people at the school will find out. And when Eve discovers the shocking truth, Addie will do anything to keep her quiet. Like, there were many plot twists in this book that, I will say the last plot twist, well done. Was not expecting that. I don't think anybody was. With thrillers, could be one plot twist, there could be 5. You never know, which is great about them. But the last one, man, it was really good. But overall, it was just okay. Was it anything to write home about? No. Will I read more of her books? Probably. If I get in a funk and I just want a fast thriller that looks long but is fast to read, I would recommend Freida McFadden. I won't say, I don't think she's going to be one of your favorite thriller authors, especially if you've read a lot of thrillers. I think she's great for getting into it. Like if you're new to thrillers and you're trying to figure out what you like, I think her books are a great way. I know she wrote, is it The Nanny? No, is it The Maid? The Maid's one that's really, really popular. But her books are just okay. There's not much to say about them because there's not much to them. And it's hard to say, but it is what it is. So we're just going to move on. Next up, we have Christina Lauren's newest book, The Paradise Problem. I love this cover. Reminiscent of my favorite book by theirs, The Unhoneymooners. Look how tropical this is. Both very good summer reads. If you want a summer read, these two by this author are amazing. So this one very much was like The White Lotus. If you've seen that show on HBO, it's basically about this really expensive resort where like rich people go. They get waited on hand and foot. It's just about a bunch of rich, crappy people. There's this book for it. So in this book, we follow two characters. We follow Anna and Liam. And at the beginning of this book, Anna and Liam were married. They got married just to have subsidized housing in college. They didn't really know each other. They were like, cool, let's get married. Let's get this housing. And then, you know, when the time goes up, we'll divorce. Bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Now, a few years later, Liam approaches Anna and he's like, hey, I need some help. Liam comes from a very, very wealthy family. Like, I'm talking about not just rich, but like rich, like billionaire rich, okay? Like they are rich. And he's like, my sister's getting married at, oh gosh, I don't know where they're getting married at. I want to say like Singapore almost or something. Like it's like a freaking 2-week long wedding event. You know you're freaking rich if you do that. Like that's insane. And he's like, look, I have told my family that I've been married for a while because I am not under my family's thumb anymore because he really does not get along with his dad. And his dad is trying to groom him to be the new CEO. And Liam wants nothing to do with that. And so basically his sister is getting married, having the 2-week long wedding. And he's like, I really have to bring you because they're just going to be like, I made up. And he's like, look, I'll pay you a lot of money. And she's like, well, I'm going to pass that junk up. So she goes and she has to buy like a whole new wardrobe. She has to like change her hair. She has to look like she is like a rich girl, you know, which nobody, I feel like if somebody did that for me, I could be like, I can't do this. Like I am so not rich. I would be like, I would be so out of my element. It wouldn't be funny at all, which is exactly Anna. Anna is very much like, she just chills. She has bubblegum pink hair. She doesn't care about the status quo. She doesn't care about money. Same girl. But she was like, I gotta play this part to get this money because her dad's sick so she can use her money for her dad, and that's her main objective. So she'll do anything she can to help those she loves. So she goes to this 2-week long and she has to pretend to be his wife. In fact, they are still married, you know, from the subsidized housing thing. And it kind of goes on from there. She gets to see how the family dynamic works. He has 2 other brothers and a sister, and it's just all very twisted. His family is crapped up. His parents, his dad is like the worst. Like his dad is that rich type of guy. I don't want to like say this about rich people, but like, you know, sometimes they're like that, okay? Like really, 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 really wealthy people. Like if a server accidentally spills on you, it happens, you know? He's like, you're fired, your whole family's screwed, like that's it. And I'm like he's just horrible. And his mother is so passive aggressive. She wears Dior sandals, she'll wear Dior things, but she'll just say things like, oh, I wish I could wear something like that and get away with it, but I care about my figure too much. And I just know so many passive aggressive people like that in my own life that it is just, sorry, that's really infuriated me. His family infuriated me. Liam does not care that much about money. He just really is trying to get his inheritance for a certain reason, and he has to be married for 5 years in order to do so, hence why him and Anna are still married. But basically, this is way too long of an explanation. You're like, oh my gosh, shut up. I understand. Basically, this whole book is about them pretending to be married to kind of like do this ruse to get money and things like that. But of course, you can guess what happens. They have feelings for each other. Things go on. A lot of manipulative things. It's just like your basic White Lotus, rich people on an island with these grand, elaborate party spas that I'm just like, I enjoyed it. I will say Christina Lauren books have not been it for me lately, but I enjoyed this one. I gave it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, if you like the White Lotus show, I would recommend it. There's no murders in this one like that show, but it still has that same type of vibe. I enjoyed it, 4 out of 5. Great summer read, perfect to read on a beach and things like that, because what do you know, they stay on a private freaking island. The last book I want to talk about today is Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I have read one other book by her, and here's a secret about me. If you have a VHS tape on the cover of your book, 90% of the time, I'm gonna buy it, because I was born in '88. Hi, I'm old, I'm 35, I think. I forget my age a lot, but either way, I grew up with VHS tapes. A lot of you youngins will be looking at tapes and be like, what is this contraption? I grew up with VHS tapes. I grew up with cassette tapes. My first cassette tape was Whitney Houston from the thrift store, baby. My first CD was NSYNC. So I'm old. But either way, if it's got a VHS on the cover, I'm gonna buy that jank. And this cover is phenomenal. It's got VHS tape with blood on it and cracked things. And yeah, I even like the hardcover is really cool too. That's like an old TV. How cool is that? Like, nobody's ever gonna know two TVs, you know? Every TV is so thin now, but remember when it used to be like massive? Like, if you had a movie TV, good freaking luck with that crap, because they took up so much space. Oh, if you're old, you get it. Anyway, this one is, oh, I like this. It says rated T for thrilling. So we follow 3 different siblings because their mom passes, and they all have a very estranged relationship. Beth, who was the oldest, never left her home. She stayed with her mom. She helped care for her mom when she got sick, was there when her mom passed away. So when her mom passes away, she kind of reveals the secret to Beth, because their father just up and left a few years ago, and nobody ever knows why. He just disappeared literally out of thin air. And so her mom's like, your father didn't disappear, don't trust. And then she sadly passes away. And so she's like, what the crap? So she calls her 2 siblings to let them know that their mother passed away. In comes Michael, who is the oldest son. He's the only son, and he left as soon as he could. He made a lot of money. He made a name for himself. And then we have the younger sister, Nicole, who is an addict. She struggles a lot with addiction. And so they come home and they have a very tumultuous relationship because they're trying to figure out what to do with the house. There's a will. And basically they find this VHS tape because they're going through the tapes because memories, and they find this big old secret that their parents were hiding, and it kind of goes on from there. Overall, I like this one. Was it super captivating? I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It is very short. It is, how many pages is it? Yeah, it's under 300 pages. That's a short thriller. For me, I'd say 300 to 350 pages is a great length for a thriller. That's just me personally, but overall, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite thriller I ever read. I will say I'll keep it because of the cover, because I love the cover. Maybe I'll do like a video one day of just my favorite VHS book covers. Oh gosh, but either way, it was okay. The sibling relationship was very strained. I could see the plot twist a mile away, but it was okay. This is my 2nd book by this author, and I find her books are just kind of easy to fly through. The writing's good, but I just don't vibe with them overall. It was just okay. That's all I have to say. That was my reviews on all 4 of these books. Overall, pretty good. I'd say my favorite out of this was definitely Reckless. I love this one, and I really enjoyed The Paradise Problem. If you've read any of these, please let me know your thoughts. Maybe I persuaded you, maybe not. I would love to know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.